It's 9:10. We're hanging out in Glendale at Twin Peaks today. We're going to be here till 4 o'clock. Now it's great pleasure. Charlie Ragle is going to join us, ASU Assistant Head Coach Special Teams Coordinator, and he is presented by Crest Insurance Group. Crest Insurance Group offers personal, business, and specialty insurance solutions for clients across all markets. Just go to crestons.com. Charlie, Jimmy B, and Manoj, how are you today, pal?
Afternoon, fellas. How we doing?
We're doing wonderful. Let's start first with a quick recap of what took place at Cal from your viewpoint. You guys were in it all the way, just didn't win it.
Yeah, and I think, that was kind of what we expected going into it. I think we expected, two teams that have been playing pretty good defense, and we thought that it was going to be a close game, and it played out, staying there just like we thought it would. We felt like certainly we could, do some things offensively and in the special teams world. Again, there's this, you could probably go and point to 4 or 5 plays over the course of the game that if we could change this or change that, it probably changes the outcome. But, that's not the way the game is played. And, you got to tip your hat to them. At the end of the day, they made more plays than we did. And, they came out victorious. And that's where it's, probably for us, the frustrating piece. And certainly year one. But, we just don't, if we could just finish the little things, I think that we would have a couple more wins under our belt than we do right now. But we don't. And so we're on to Colorado, and here we go.
And Charlie, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, you look at the USC game, you see the Cal game, you see a lot of good. And I know when you guys get on that grease board, the old grading system, the good, the bad, and I don't say the ugly, just the indifferent. Is the good as you guys progress through the season starting to even out with the bad, or is the bad more than the good? Or kind of give us an evaluation where this team is after the last 2 games from that standpoint of progressing through the year.
Well, I think if you go back Dan, and I think that's just it. I mean, you go back to Fresno State, and that kind of was an anomaly of what happened, the injuries and so forth, right? It's a terrible game. And then how we come out and the kids answered the bell and how they play against USC. And again, we're right there. It's a 1-score game, and we have our opportunities. And again, we don't go and close it. And I think we found ourselves in a very similar situation against Cal. And again, same scenario in the sense that we didn't finish the game. And I think, and I'm trying to be objective, but obviously I'm in this thing knee deep, right? But I think sometimes when you're where we're at and taking over the program and stealing the culture and doing the things that we're doing, some of the early signs or early situations are just that, inexperience, leadership, all of those things come into play where you need guys to step up and be able to close games out. But I think we've continued to get better each week. We just need to put it all together, all 3 phases, and finish the game.
And Charlie, I got to ask you in reference to, me, I'm a little old school in reference to, games and running games. What is the metric or philosophies per se on the 4th down scenarios? You guys were 2 for 5 on the 4th down attempts. What's going into that philosophy, that metric? And I know you'd probably want to have that one back in your own territory. What was it on the 31-yard line where you guys went for? But what is kind of for the fans to understand why so many teams, not only you guys, you see in the NFL, you see in other colleges, and that metric or philosophy is?
Well, I think the thing that you have to talk about there is plain and simple is this, we're going to be aggressive. You know what? And, we're at a 4th and 1 situation there on our own 31. And if we run the ball exactly where we're supposed to, we're going to pick up the yard. And, I get it. I certainly understand. I think it's, people can sit philosophically, you can go both ways on it. I certainly understand that. But, I think in those situations, you've got 4 downs to get a 1st down. And I think that, and you talk about Coach Dillingham's mentality. I think it depends game to game. We change on, based on who we're playing. Where does that, 4th down situation come into play based on the team that we're playing and the things that we think that we can do there. Again, we didn't get it. At the end of the day, it's a bottom line business. You've got to convert. Was it there? Absolutely. I know that people are, well, you didn't get it. So it's, Again, it's frustrating for us, but that is the mentality. Hey, we want to be a little bit more aggressive. And if we can't get a yard or two at certain times, we're probably not going to win the game. Now, again, and on the flip side of that, we weren't punting the ball very well. A punter's going through some things and some injury stuff, and he's not hitting the ball very well. And so, there's a combination of things, I guess, Dan, to answer your question. But we certainly felt like we were going to be able to pick up that yard, and we just didn't get it.
Charlie Ragle is our guest on the Wright Toyota guest line. All right, Coach, you talked about being aggressive. You guys are really going to have to be aggressive with the upcoming opponent. Their defense struggles, meaning the Colorado Buffaloes, but their offense puts up points in bunches. Could this game be the first one to 50 who wins?
Give or take.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I coaching on the defensive side of the ball, I sure as heck hope not. They do have some skill guys that really pop out to you. Their receivers and running backs, they can really run. I think that's the biggest difference that you see with this team in particular is that they've got a handful of guys that, if you let them get loose, that they're going to cause you problems. The quarterback has played well all year, and so we've got to be dialed in.
3 minutes.
Our details and our packages and execute at a very high level defensively, offensively. We feel like, hey, this is we're at a point in time where we're getting a little bit of continuity, in terms of consistent quarterback play and having guys play, consistent snaps. Now, again, we faced some pretty tough injuries. Again, that's part of the game, but that certainly doesn't make it easier in year one when you're going through some of the injury stuff, real or not. I mean, in terms of the outcome of the game, but it's real for us and how you put a game plan together. And I'm a real big believer in consistency. Makes for, a great product. And it's hard to get that consistency in practice and the reps when you're having to, move guys around like chess pieces. But we feel like, hey, we've got enough in the arsenal that we really do think we can score some points this week. And we think it's going to be
2 minutes.
A very good game for us to come out and, put a great product on the field in front of a sold-out crowd, which is going to be exciting.
Coach, I got to tell, watching Trenton Bray settle down in that game, that looked like the Trenton Bray of last year. He was hitting some shots down the field, some crossing routes. He looked like he got his sea legs back up underneath him and really looked comfortable, and I was really pleased. I missed a couple here and there, but I was really pleased to see him, I think, get back into his groove in last week's game.
Well, and I think that's exactly right. But I think, that goes from he's had a little bit of experience under his belt. It's one thing to do it, and then, he doesn't start in the first couple games, and then how he gets in their third game gets hurt. Start to build that consistency where now, hey, you know what? I feel comfortable. I'm starting to take those reps. I'm starting to see the game. It's slowing down for me. And I think, to your point, you're starting to see all of that. Yeah. And I think the more we can get him those reps and get him
1 minute, 1 minute.
Our offense is going to be, and I think we got a chance to put some points on the board and win some football games with him doing that.
About 1 minute left, Coach. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders for Colorado, during his news conference, he referenced Kenny Dillingham, and he talked about if he would have gotten the Florida State job, his first call was to Kenny Dillingham when he was the offensive coordinator at Oregon. And he said, hey, I have the greatest respect for Kenny Dillingham. This is going to be that's high praise, and that's why I find this game also so compelling, the respect between the two coaches.
Well, I think first of all, maybe Coach Dillingham should walk out with a height chain and just get it going. I think it shows to Sun Devil fans and Sun Devil Nation, what we have in our head coach. I think that's what that says to me, is that here's the guy that's done a tremendous job there at Colorado and in such a quick amount of time, and obviously the environment that's been surrounded with CU football. And to say those things about our head coach shows just what we have in Coach Dillingham, and he knows, Coach Prime knows, the mentality that Coach Dillingham has and what he's building and bringing to ASU football. And I think over the course of time, we're going to create that same environment and atmosphere here in Sun Devil Stadium. And I think it's going to be something that everybody's going to look forward to and be proud of it here in the next couple of years.
Sold out crowd at Sun Devil Stadium. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is the Devils and the Buffs. Thank you, Coach, as always.
Thanks, Coach.
Have a great day on Saturday.
Always a pleasure, fellas. Go Devils.
There you go. That is indeed Charlie Ragle. He's presented by the Crest Insurance Group. Crest Insurance Group offering personal, business, and specialty insurance solutions for clients across all markets. Just go to Crestons.com. All right, when we come back, it's our football 50 and our random senseless